Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Price. Goodbye, 2024. Hello, 2025. So, in this video, I am going to cover the overall energies of the year, and I'm also going to cover our first month of focus. It has been a whirlwind, ultimately, for years now. And we are still in a lot of deep change, and that's going to continue. But I do also see some really exciting changes about what the energies are, even what they have been indicating for our journey of ascension. So, a little bit of review to kind of catch up where we are now. So, since my 2020 vision of Gabriel's horn, there has been a lot of throat chakra movement, as well as a lot of purging, especially with that dragon vision from the 2021 energies. We entered an intensified time of purging and really clarifying things, strengthening. 2021 also began a return of the divine feminine in August that is still continuing, of course. Then in 2022, we were focusing on our creative harmonic, really raising that capability of light workers to understand the flow of creation. And also in 2022, Ariane said we were entering the mouth of the dragon, which is ultimately a multi year intensification of the spiral, as that hourglass spiral, which is what our whole galaxy is. We live in a spiral galaxy, so that spiral is core to our experience here. Where that hourglass spiral meets in the middle, that's the 0 point. That is the place of neutrality, that momentary place where two opposites meet, or polarity is integrated, duality is transcended. That's that space of neutrality where all time and all space is available, that point of multidimensionality. And this is a constant in the physical realm. And I'm actually going to come back to this whole concept, but that neutrality and that 0 point, it's a momentary experience in the linear realm where it occurs differently based on the moment of what you're experiencing, how that affects you energetically. And that began our focus on connection into 2023. Then, of course, last year, we intensified that even more with wholeness. Last year, Ariane focused a lot, didn't just start last year, but they focused a lot on our tri-wave brain flow, which ultimately is about building a container of understanding of our multidimensionality, being able to sustain that more so that it's not just mentalized, it becomes more experiential. Just like our third dimension gives us the container of physicality, and then all of those other dimensions are layered upon that. And within that, that's the same of what they're referring to with our tri-wave brain flow, that we are getting a sustained understanding or more conscious connection with our universal flow, our cosmic connection, our super consciousness, and really integrating that into our state of being more. And that is using your creative harmonic, really understanding your multidimensionality. This brings us to now, and Ariane is calling 2025 the year of the conduit. And that, of course, is you being your wholeness, being that conduit of the cosmic connection that we all are. We are linear and separate in this density experience, and we are also connected and whole. Bringing that into our conscious focus. So directing your focus, using your masculine energetic, and also allowing, being open, receiving that universal flow your feminine energetic. The year of the conduit is owning your conductivity, understanding that better, that you are constantly flowing information. You are perceiving and emitting information and creating change constantly. And most importantly, using that creative flow. Direct your focus, stay open and allowing. This is why Ariane has taught for years. You never just see or hear something, you receive it. It becomes part of your information. So, what will you do with that information? When you allow conduction, when you are a free flowing conduit, you are allowing a movement of energy, a transfer of energy through you, through direct interaction, even if that means non local interaction, just through your awareness. There's still a transference of energy. And if you just look at that from a physical perspective, it may be a little less difficult to, or a little more difficult to understand energy from this broader sense. For us, think of energy as a flow of information, what you perceive and what you are emitting out. That helps you to understand more clearly that you are a constant conduit. And that helps you to be rather than just doing unconsciously, and potentially creating extra effort or extra resistance when it's not necessarily applicable or helpful. So a figurative conduit allows a transference of energy or information without resistance. And your work is to be aware of any resistance that comes up and shift that along the way, staying open to that flow of information. A conduit flows information, supports flow. And a conduit is as informed as appropriate to fulfill that flow. This is a big part of our wholeness, understanding that cosmic flow of energy or that universal flow of energy, being in that state of trust, being in that state of awareness, being in that state of knowing, so that you're grounded, you're focused, and you're open as appropriate. A conduit doesn't hold on to flow. It allows flow just by being. And this is part of that awareness that as you're moving through life day to day, you are constantly receiving information. You are constantly emitting information. And this brings it into that state of being, which is what we've been focusing on, especially through those past 2 years of connection and wholeness. Last year, the year began with focusing on a state of being so that you're not in that constant focus of having to fix things or having to control things. It's more of that state of being that all is well and changing. Now, I'm going to share the vision that I was shown connected to 2025 and even the January energies. Actually, first, I hope to see some of you in Sedona for my keynote and also my workshop at the channel panel that is January 3rd through the 5th. Now, of course, you can also get all of the main stage presentations via live stream if you can't be here in person. I'm also teaching light language online beginning March 8th, and I'm teaching crystalline soul healing online beginning March 21st. Both of those classes are in-depth transformation as you're learning those modalities. They're very different from each other. Light language is externalized. Crystalline soul healing is a powerful Lyran modality that is silent. It has no movement to it. So they combine well. Crystalline soul healing goes very well with many things. So, if you are interested in learning any of those modalities to become a healer, then check out the links below or visit my website, jamieprice.com, for more information. I am going to share the 2025 vision first, and then I'll talk about the January energies and intention. I've known for a while, a couple of months probably, even before Ariane gave me the energies, that we would be going through a physical integration with the light body this year. In essence, we are strengthening the light body, we're strengthening the Merkaba. The Merkaba is shown as two triangles, one facing up, one facing down, and they spin in opposite directions. But this is a very static and basic representation of something that is much more complex. It is essentially the hourglass spiraling core that can create a circular toroidal flow, creating that closed loop of our energy field that, of course, is interconnected with all of the different layers of energy around us. Now, the Merkaba, Mer, which means light or information, and the Ka and the Ba are the spirit and body interface of that bidirectional flow from physicality to non-physicality and all of the layers of that as it densifies into our actual physical body. But there's another level there that is core. And to me, this is what the Mer aspect of that represents, and that's connection. That is what light does. It flows information, it connects, whether it's externalized or not. And since the mid 2000s, somewhere around 2006, 7, something like that, we have been integrating aspects of our spherical flow, which is part of what Ariane is talking about with the tri-wave brain flow, that it's not just two directions. Like, we are building a stronger container. That's our wholeness. That's the tri-wave brain flow that Ariane's been talking about. This allows for that sustained connection or that sustained communication from our physicality into the conscious connection with our multidimensionality. It's like being able to more easily hold a potential into manifestation because there's a greater container for it. So we are moving into another phase of light body and amplification. It's not the first time this has happened, and it's always continually happening, but it is going through a lot of deeper shifts in this upcoming year. So as we integrate this, our flow of information, the conduit, is strengthened to be able to sustain that communication, that potential manifestation. So it's the integration of your vast, subtle self into the physical and utilizing that multidimensionality. Now, I was shown this vision in two parts. First, I was shown the throat open, and I was shown sound and light coming forth. So, expression is key, especially in these upcoming times. But even in your silence, this is not just about vocalizing. That throat chakra is the chakra of manifestation. So, all that you do, all your actions, the energy of the throat chakra is about expressing you into the physical realm. So even in your silence. Then I was shown the triangle of the torso, most notably from the throat chakra area and the shoulders, focusing into the second chakra. Now, of course, all of our chakras are interactive, but the throat chakra and the second chakra have a special interaction because the creativity, the desires that begin in the second chakra manifests through the throat chakra, through your actions, which is synonymous with expression. In 2025, the year of the conduit, you are to contain, to sustain, to nourish and nurture new potential within the second chakra, knowing that you are expressing the sound and the light, even if that's not verbalized or not physicalized, knowing that you are expressing the sound and the light when the time is right, because you are a conduit. And that broad season of light flow is here. Your light body is physically, on an energetic level, shifting to accommodate greater creative flow. Now, this brings me to this month's energies. Ariane says that the January energies are always foundational for the entire year. So keep them in your heart and mind as the year progresses. The January energies are courageous vision. I love this. Courageous vision. And when they told me this, they were asking me questions. So, some things to think about. What positive potentials can you foresee? Now, sometimes this is going to be incredibly easy. Sometimes you're looking at something that is the opposite of what you would want to create or experience, or it might be something that's traumatic. It might be something that stirs up fear. So, what positive potentials can you foresee no matter what's going on around you? Can you hold that vision courageously, even if the ego doesn't think it's possible? If you notice resistance coming up, or you feel like, I don't deserve that, or someone doesn't deserve that, whatever could be coming up, can you hold that vision courageously? And sometimes that means going against the grain. Sometimes that means being in the midst of the opposite of what you would want to create. But can you hold that vision courageously? Could you be the path of least resistance for change? Can you let go easily? As a conduit does, it just lets things flow. Can you let go of the when or the how? Let that conduit just flow. This is why being direct with your focus, this is what the courageous vision that I want to hold, and being open and allowing is so important, because the universe is constantly speaking to you. Can you be that path of least resistance and just let things go? Go with the flow, direct when necessary, and open and change and shift when necessary. I loved the kinds of questions that they were bringing up. Essentially, what does it take to have courageous vision? It takes sovereignty to hold new potential that isn't just regurgitated or perhaps manipulated. It takes conviction, strength, a sense of knowing that life is supporting you because you are life. It takes patience, one of my favorites. It does take patience, though. The when and the how, they are not always your work. They become your work when it's appropriate and you get those clues. So it takes patience. And patience is a creative, active state of openness, of awareness, rather than just force or control. It takes flexibility to be able to shift with the tides, to adjust with the path of least resistance, which of course is also the path of gravitational assistance. I love that saying. The path of least resistance is also the path of gravitational assistance. Now, the intention for this month as we begin the year of the conduit, my courageous vision is a conduit for love. My courageous vision is a conduit for love. And the reason they wanted that focus on love to be there is to really reinforce that deep knowing that you are life, you are a conduit for life, and that love is the core of life. It's the binding force of life. My courageous vision is a conduit for love. So as you hold your visions courageously, you are allowing love to manifest here. So spend some time each day envisioning what that means to you. Go broad when the specifics don't flow easily. Feel it. And then get into the specifics when appropriate. If you notice that those specifics create any kind of tension, go with the path of least resistance. So watch for any kind of resistance energy like desperation or a need for control, even in its milder forms. My courageous vision is a conduit for love. So leave a comment below of a courageous vision that you would like to focus on. And if you'd like, I recommend that you focus on one that is specific for you and one that is for the collective. And maybe you want to change them up each day. Maybe you want to repeat some for a bit, but exercise that muscle of being a relaxed conduit of flow for your courageous vision to bring more love here to life. My courageous vision is a conduit for love. I hope you have a happy new year and enjoy the crystalline soul healing and light language for 2025 and to amplify your courageous vision. Pimomna henni suta krayat ta hum shur tal irat morakni het mum sayich krat ut anet dema hret so kam shut dandak o krar hal knut urm mad drum ia such kratat him pra ni it urut sut krund hat im pra su shara ko prom ha krum hat dum an chur kror ko o kro tam hortat him maurt am sanchet o kwa sot Habramat am staya kror hatet or dal renandat im brachnin et shur dan sur kral herktiet jaurat and atsu kuret kom ha orat ho kwa tanan stayro tutsum kret hanatet am brer hanat ir urutsut krayendet im naurat and Shama shania tatend. Hakrendet hom mauratat il dan sumsteimim mor ni ed en sacharut ku kurat nend him. Mnor and had ed such nacht Krer harat und zanshair urmdet lel rene. Bra rentandat orat shaimam. Nan haraklandat im suchurat ul. Der tend hind ind gretut sanchurat ur mdaur. Na wala tent. Am sharutanam sakrayatat e. Randat ham suchurum dat el urnot ua. Kramdat shan non such daura taktil. Karatand han.